Started.
Here it is. Level 1 comment.
So we're live now, are we?
Yes. Should we?
Okay. Is anybody there?
Hang on. Click back here just to be sure. Yes, you're live. Good. Now click back to here.
Okay. So welcome anybody that's out there. This is Tassie Sue or Grandmother Sue or just Sue from the Vortex Healing Centre in beautiful Tasmania. I'm going to share some of my adventures in Rapa Nui as an Earthkeeper. Okay, so there's a special reason I'm showing this first slide. We'll come back to that one later. But many months ago, I was contacted during my meditation by one of these beautiful moais, and he turned to me and he said, "Come." I thought, well, you can't resist an invitation like that, so that's what I did. I checked out with the aid of a pendulum to find out when I should be going, and the winter solstice in 2017 was indicated. So I rounded up a couple of friends and off we went. You may wonder why there's a turtle on this screen, but everybody says, where is Easter Island, or Rapa Nui as it's known by the locals. It's a tiny little dot in the middle of the ocean. It's only 64 square miles. And nobody knows how to find it, except if you follow the turtles. The turtles follow the currents and they go from the Galapagos Islands to Rapa Nui. So that was how you find your way to Rapa Nui, a small, tiny little island in the middle of the ocean. But it's maybe small in stature, but if I can get this right, doesn't want to go right. All these little marks around the outside of the actual moai. These are massive, 30 to 40 and up to 70 metres high, massive stone heads. And some of them even have bodies, but they're buried, so you don't get to see them. It's a small volcanic island. As you can see, you can only get round to a certain area in this island. You can't get near the big volcanic crater. This is a volcanic crater here, there's another one here, and there's another one up here. But the island itself is made up of lava tubes and volcanic rock and very little else. The first moai that I saw said to me, "We're glad you heard our call and welcome." This is the only moai in the centre of town that's actually facing the sea. They should all be facing inland, but this one faces the sea. So we had rented a little bungalow in the middle of this lovely garden, and here we set up home for 13 nights. And we had to take care of all the essentials, so we had to find a lovely place to eat. And what better one than this one? You shouldn't be able to read that. That's our favourite place to eat. We sat here night after night just watching the sun going down and eating beautiful food, and of course we got a taste for the local drink, which is called pisco sour, and it's one of the happiest drinks you're ever going to have. Many an afternoon we sat in the garden, we had a pisco sour, and then we started singing. It was a nice way to spend the afternoons after our adventures. And of course you do need a bit of entertainment, so we looked up the local entertainment around the areas and had a beautiful dinner out and watched the natives dancing. Incredible dancers they are. Incredibly fit. Not bad to look at either. We got all dressed up for the occasion, got our war paint on and took part in the local meal and everything. It was great. But then we thought it was time to get to work. So we rented a little car from the lady that we rented the units from, our unit from, and we took off, and we had no idea where we were going or anything, so we asked for help. And immediately the hawk flew in. They were there to guide us right throughout our journeys and our adventures. I can't see that page.
Huh?
I can't see that page.
No, they can. I will tell you what they say.
So I'm getting a bit of interference here. Barbara's asking you to type in any questions or comments you have, and even though I can't see them.
So, yeah,
but Barbara will. Yeah.
Okay. So just ask them that every so many minutes.
Okay, so there's 3 excited women in this beat up old Suzuki, and we get out and drive off and follow our hawk. And the first place we managed to stop at was this amazing stone. It's called the navel of the earth, and it has this amazing energy. I don't know whether it's a meteorite or whether it's what, but if you come anywhere near it, you will actually feel the energy pulsing through you. It's blocked off so you can't touch it, but it has a mighty powerful energy, and if you tune into it now, just close your eyes with the image of that on in your mind's eye. You should start to feel the energy from it. It will actually activate you through the photo. And if you're feeling it, please write in the comments where you're feeling it. So then it was back in the car. And off we went. We had to find the vortex, so we knew we could find the lay of the land and where we had to go and what we had to do. It would be easy to find. Because as an Earthkeeper, I never get told where or what or how. I just know where I'm going, and sometimes I get a basic idea of what is asked of me, but not so often. So here we are heading off across the barren landscape of Easter Island, and these funny shaped hills are all volcanic spouts. But the one over here was really drawing us. So we followed the one road round the island and came round a corner, and here's our first look at the Moai. We got out of the car, and wow, we felt the energy here straight away. It was phenomenal. This is right on the ley line, and behind these 15 gentlemen is a huge inlet where these massive waves come in. So there's a powerful amount of sea energy coming in as well. Oh, we thought, couldn't be this easy. 10 minutes in the car and we find them. And we find the energy line. And we did find the energy line, but all these Moai, who were actually carved out of volcanic rock, obviously, as we said, but they're carved in the image of clan leaders, and they're walked to these different sites. They have a rope around their neck and they pull on either side. And to see the Moai walking is a really fascinating thing. They just walk along the roads. It's amazing. But they're looking towards the small volcanic crater called Ranaku. And again, this is still through the ley line, so looking at that, we thought, wow, that has an amazing energy as well. And Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, is a national park, so you have to buy tickets to go into these places, and the ticket costs you $80 American, and you're only allowed into the major sites once. So we saved this one up because we figured we would be doing the work on the inside. We didn't use that ticket until right on the day to do the activation. So we had a good look round it and a drive round it as far as we could. And that's where the moai are all created, from the rocks on the side of this crater. There's over 800 of them, and every one of them has a different feature. The faces are all different. Some of them have red hats on, and some had bodies that remain buried. They did dig a few up, but for some reason they decided to bury them again. Okay, so we went back in the car and back home. And the next day we decided we'd go out the other side and check out the big crater, because this is where I originally thought the work would be done. This is a panoramic shot, so it's the equivalent of 3 photos wide. It's a huge, huge volcanic crater, and you can't get down into it, obviously. But the energy was mild compared to the one at Renku. Beside this is an amazing amount of little stone houses like this, but you have to be tiny to get indoors. This is where they hold the Birdman competition, and the natives have to sometimes wait. Sometimes it goes for a few days because they've got to run down a big cliff. You can see how high above the water we are here. They have to run down this cliff, swim across to the island, wait for the first egg to be hatched, and the first one to get it then has to swim back and run all the way back up the cliff and take it into his clan leader in one of those little houses. A huge effort. But the island itself is just amazing. Everywhere you go is all this volcanic rock. And everywhere we went, there's faces and shapes and sometimes drawings in the rocks. But, you know, you just get a bit amazed and blown away by it all. It just, I think we counted about 30 faces alone in this photo. But the solstice was coming up very, very rapidly, and I knew through my meditation and stuff and the clues that had been given to me during my lead up to this that I was to join the hoop right around the world. The words I heard were, it starts and it ends at Easter Island. And so we had to connect the hoop right around the world, and is a huge honour. I was so blessed to be able to do this. And Jane and Maria, who came with me, they were equally excited, and we did a terrific job as it all works out. But nothing is ever smooth and simple, as we know. Anybody that's worked in the spiritual field know that there's always a twist in the tail and things don't go accordingly. So looking for the right spot, we headed off on the solstice. We're going to use our ticket into the volcanic crater and see if we could find the actual vortex. The vortex is a very, very powerful one here. The energy is phenomenal on the island itself. The people here just live in the now. There's no news agency, there's no newspaper, there's no nothing. I think there is a television, but people are just happy. They live now, they do what they want to. They go out and they catch their fish for food and they come back in and sell it at the market. Everything's sold at the market. There's a few shops and things, obviously, but an amazing place. It is a happy, happy place to be. But fully armed and ready to go, we followed the hawk. We went inside the crater, and there's a big lake, the only lake on the island itself. But no, it didn't feel right, so we kept walking and looking, and we went right round the outside through the Moai graveyard, and we came to this little fella. He's the only kneeling Moai. He's the only one with a beard, but very, very different. So we thought, okay. But however, it's right on the tourist trail, and there's tour guides coming through with 30 or 40 people in their parties every 5 minutes or so. So we had to figure out how to get around that. We tried another place, didn't feel quite right. And we thought, instead of doing it when we were going to, which was at 2:20, we decided we'd do it at the lunchtime break when the tourists were at a minimum. So about 1:15, the traffic died down, and we went up there and we called the energies and called in all the protection of the archangels and tuned into the 15, 16 Moai heads down here. This is them there where you can just see them in the background, and the crater's here behind us. And so we drew the energies, and to my surprise, they actually went into the earth, not above it, and settled into the diamond grid. It took a while. We got it there, and just as we were finishing, a native tour guide came up and she looked deep inside me and said, "Can I help you?" And I thought, oh, we're in trouble. We're doing something we shouldn't. We had our crystals stashed under there because you can't get to touch anything over there now. But she sat down next to me and looked inside me, and I thought, oh, okay, she's just helping. And she told us a bit about it, and then when it felt right, she moved on. So we thought, yep, it's done. Wow. He seemed very happy. The eagles gave way to the white terns. They showed us where we should be. Pure white birds doing the spiritual work. They drew us to their special place, one special place where they nest on this volcanic crater. And this is how the Moai were made. They're just chiselled out of these huge big lumps of rock on the side of the volcanic crater. All through here, you see hundreds of these literally in this graveyard. These two seem to be the most popular, and we thought we'd better get a selfie in front of them. And me being a bit of a goober, this is coming back to this photo. But I want you to look up here. There's an unidentified flying object just above us here. So, not that we saw that at the time, but it just appeared in the photo. So, we were quite pleased with ourselves, thinking, yes, we've done it.
Rapa just joined you. Say hi to Jenny. Jenny.
Hi, Jenny. Okay, so doing our earthwork, we knew we'd connected the hoop. I was very pleased with that, but we all looked at each other and said, it's not quite right. Something we haven't done. And because we couldn't get anywhere near the vortex itself, we couldn't actually feel the energy properly. So we went back to our little cabin, and we decided we were going to go out and see the big Rapa Nui movie that Kevin Costner made. And we went up to the hotel where it was and started chatting to the receptionist, and she said, "Oh, I've got just the person you need to meet." And so she wrote his name down for me. He said, "He'll take you where you need to go." And I thought, oh, okay. So we went round and saw him, and he said, you need to go in the caves. So I thought, oh, gosh. Here I am, 63, very arthritic. And the others are a bit younger. Oh, Maria's not. She's older. So we were going down anyway. We just thought, yes, this is fabulous. What an opportunity to go down into the centre of the Mother. And so we started off and walked across a sort of plain area. And there's this great big hole in the ground, and banana trees and all kinds of crops are growing in it. And he said that's where they often grow their crops. It keeps them protected. So it's an oasis in the middle of the earth. And so we got down into it. There's a natural beehive. An amazing little area. And our guide gave us all this information, and here we are at the front of a big cabin we went into after we went the other way. But I'm showing you this one first because this is how, it's a handy hint for you. If you're ever going to be attacked, you run and hide in a cave, but you build all these rock walls here so that they can't come in all at once. They've all got to go through single file, and they can knock them off easily. It's a good bit of logic there. So next, Sebastian, our guide, helped us to climb all the way down here and said, follow me. By this time, we were fine. It was good. It looks quite easy. We had to go in through here. This is all sulphur dripping off the roof here. And so we had to go right down this tunnel, and it got darker and wetter and slimy, and goodness, it was just very difficult, but he was always there and very helpful. So we all managed it, and we came out into a bit of sunlight. And as soon as I got close to this area, my second chakra, or my uterus, went berserk. He was jumping all over the place. In the middle of this place is this huge avocado tree growing out of nowhere. The mother energy is all situated down here, and there's another tunnel off to the side there. And we all uploaded the mother, the three of us, Jane, Maria and I, uploaded the mother energy into us. It was an amazing amount of energy that just flowed and flowed and filled us. Up here, you can't really see it, but that's a horse's head. He's standing on the top under the tree. And there's many, many free-range horses on the island. None of them have paddocks. They just wander where they want to, as do the cows and the chooks and the dogs. And this is what the avocado tree looks like from the top. Along the way, we also had a heart activation before we got to the avocado tree. We forgot all about the dangerous and slippery bits and everything. And then I had to walk through this big, big cave and lake, and it was slippery underfoot and pitch black, and my batteries failed in my little headlamp, and it was rather worrying because the lake was only sort of mid-thigh deep, but I'm not all that secure on my feet these days, and wandering through there in pitch black with all these torches flashing around all over the place was a difficult thing. And Maria was behind me and Jane was behind them. We had to crawl through this hole backwards on our bottoms, feet first, and it was a really long tunnel to get through to get to this one special place. And we got to the centre, and there was a couple of rocks where you sat, and one pinpoint of light coming down from the roof. And I really just wanted to sit there and sob. I really wanted to cry, and I looked at Jane, she wanted to cry, and I looked at Maria and she was laughing. She was off her face. It was just a totally different reaction, but a fantastic experience, and then we had to crawl all the way back, and then we had to crawl out of the earth. And for me, who invariably had to go first, here I am climbing out of what felt like a birth canal. I came right out of the dark and into the light. I had to really claw my way back up. It's an amazing trip. But what we realised is that we had to upload the female to go and put back in the energy line. And so we waited a couple of days and headed back. We didn't go back in because we knew we could do it on the line. This is where we figured the vortex area was. And I could feel the rings coming out the road. We found a road that we weren't allowed to go up the first day, but no one was there the second time we tried it. So we got up there and we got out, and we could actually feel the vortex itself, and it was all male. So we promptly downloaded the female energy there. And as soon as we did that, we turned around and looked at the 15 moai, and this huge rainbow formed over it. And this is a rainbow that was progressively seen around the world. Fabulous thing. This time I was really off my face. I knew we had completed everything. It was so exciting. I walked out and I leant against this wall. And I believe it was this moai here that called me. And I said to him, if it was you, thank you. It has been an absolutely brilliant experience, and I got the biggest heart blast. It really, really just ripped into me. It was amazing. I could have just dissolved in a big puddle. And then I looked down at my feet, and that's what I was standing in front of. And when I came home here, I think my heart stayed there. It took me a long time to balance. I even had to do a soul retrieval to get myself fully back. And then I had a wonderful healing because I was still all over the show emotionally, and Jane and her friend did a Palawa healing on me, and that was just wonderful. I could feel the energies sorting themselves out through my body. And once again, I'm back to where I should be. So these are the perils of a Rapa Nui experience and of an Earthkeeper. And I'm not sure if any of you have done any earthkeeping apart from Jane, who's on, I don't know. But all you need to do is to become sensitive. And you need to want to. There'll be plenty, it's too long a subject to really get into on this, but you really have to trust your guidance. You have to know that you don't get led to these places for nothing. And that if you don't get it completely right, it will right itself in a different way. Like we had to go down and get the mother energy. It's purely by listening and feeling. And if you have the desire to do it, you will. There's many ways of finding the high energy spots. Once you get used to it, you will feel it instantly. But to learn how to do it, my favourite tool is a coat hanger. Many people use dowsing rods, but I like the coat hanger because it measures the energy a lot better. It's a far more significant turn to the right or turn to the left for male or female. It gives you detail as well. I probably will be doing a few or a couple of webcasts again on earthkeeping and how we start off and how we look for the energy spots on our own properties. If you're interested, just leave a comment or watch our page. You'll be kept informed as to what we're going to do.
Ask questions.
And now, just if there's any questions, please do them. And please ask them now. Barbara, can you show me where I find the ones? Because I can't see the question.
Go to that main page and we're going to take off the screen share. Take off the screen share. Take off screen share, go down. And any comments are over here.
Okay.
So you can comment, you can leave other comments. See?
There's no comments or anything. So.
No, so you have to ask people to comment. That's what I ask. Or you can wrap it up. Is there any other tips you have for people who want to learn how to find the vortexes and keep their own sacred spaces safe on their own properties?
Jane wants to know when her next trip is. I want to know too. Jenny, nice to see you, Jen. Look forward to meeting up with you too next week. And yeah, what's his name? Didn't come on today. Sorry, I'm talking to Barbara as well.
Can you tell what happened with the thing and how we can do this? Now we know how this works.
We did have a lot of problems setting this up today, and now that we know how to do it, the normal way isn't the right way, as usual. We have to, we can work them out and do some more of these. Okay.
If you're done, then tell them to do something and hang up.
Otherwise, there's no more questions. We'll leave that at that today because we have gone quite late. And thank you so much for joining us.
I'm going to stop broadcast.
Jenny says she's coming next trip. Okay. Okay, so it's Tassie Sue or Grandmother Sue saying thank you for joining us and see you next time.
Confirming that you're confirm again.